Okay, so what if you could actually talk to the rain? And I don't just mean listen to it pitter patter on the window. I mean, what if you could ask it who it is and it actually answered you? That is the incredible, fantastic idea at the very heart of Walt Whitman's poem, The Voice of the Rain. And believe me, it's a conversation that reveals this deep, surprising connection between the natural world and, well, the act of creation itself. The entire poem really just hinges on this one amazing thought. The poet is just kind of listening to a soft falling shower, and on a whim, he asks it, "Hey, who are you?" And to his total astonishment, the rain answers him. It tells him its own story, and that's really the setup for the whole piece. It's a dialogue, a back and forth between two very different voices. You've got the human poet, and you've got the voice of the rain. The poet asks a simple question, and nature responds with this beautiful, complex explanation of its own existence. And I just love the contrast here. The poet's question is so direct, almost childlike. And who art thou? But the rain's answer, it's immediate and it's deeply metaphorical. I am the poem of earth. It doesn't say I'm water or I'm precipitation. No, it claims an identity as art. So, the poem of earth, what does that even mean? Let's really unpack this incredible phrase because honestly, it's the key to understanding everything else that's about to happen in the poem. The rain is literally comparing itself to poetry. And if you think about it, it makes perfect sense. A soft rain has a rhythm, doesn't it? A certain cadence. It brings this quiet beauty to the world, washing everything clean. And most importantly, just like poetry can nourish your soul, the rain nourishes the earth, and it brings forth life. It's like this perfect, self-contained piece of art that the planet itself created. So after giving itself this incredible title, the rain starts to explain its journey, which it calls eternal. And this is where the poem gets really cool, because it beautifully merges this mystical idea with a physical scientific reality we all know. And what's so brilliant is that this is the water cycle. I mean, Whitman is describing it in the most lyrical way possible. I rise impalpable, that's evaporation, right? Unseen, rising from the land and the sea. Then upward to heaven, vaguely formed, that's condensation, the water vapor forming into clouds. And finally, I descend, that's precipitation, the rain returning to earth. He's showing us the science hiding inside the poetry. We have to pause on this line for a second because it is just so powerful. Altogether changed and yet the same. The water changes its form. It goes from liquid to vapor to a cloud and back to liquid again. But its essential nature, what it is, that stays constant. It's such a beautiful metaphor for transformation, for change within this constant, eternal cycle of return. So this journey isn't just some random physical process. No, it has a profound purpose. The rain now explains why it goes through this endless cycle of rising, changing, and then falling back down. And its purpose is purely to give. It washes away all the dust and quenches the thirst of the land. It wakes up the seeds that are just sitting there dormant, latent, unborn, just waiting for its touch so they can spring to life. And at the end of the day, it gives life back to the very place it came from, making the earth pure and beautiful again. This line right here, this is the heart of its whole purpose. Without the rain, life is just potential. It's just an idea. The rain is the catalyst, that essential element that turns the possibility of life into the reality of it. You could say the rain is the great awakener of the world. And just when you think the poem has made its point and it's over, Whitman hits us with this final, absolutely incredible twist. In the last two lines, he steps back in as the poet, and he draws this parallel between the rain cycle and the cycle of something totally different, a song. Now notice how these lines are in parentheses. That's a little clue. This is the poet's own reflection, his own thought, completing the metaphor that the rain started. He's basically saying a song or a poem does the exact same thing. It comes from the creator's soul. It goes out into the world. Doesn't matter if anyone pays attention to it or not. And eventually, it returns to the creator with love. And looking at it this way, the parallel becomes crystal clear. The rain's origin, the earth. The song's origin, the artist's soul. They both journey out into the world to fulfill a purpose. One gives life and beauty, the other gives inspiration and joy. And crucially, in the end, both return to their source. They complete this perfect cycle of creation and giving. So this is the ultimate takeaway. Whitman is telling us that the creative act is a natural force, Art isn't just some decoration, it's as essential, as fundamental as the rain. It comes from a source, it goes out and nourishes the world, and it brings this kind of loving fulfillment back to the person who created it. And that really just leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? If the rain has a voice, a story, a poem that it wants to tell us, what else in nature does? What are the songs of the wind, or the mountains, or the trees? This poem is really an invitation for all of us to just stop, listen, and find the poetry that is all around us, just waiting to be heard.
Prepared by K. Rajendra Prasad.